Helps when I stay with the notes, huh? Okay. Here's the question. Well, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. What's important to you? This will work whether you're man or woman. What's important to you? I can ask you 2 more questions that will quickly and accurately reveal the answer. So here's the question I want you to answer. What's important? Now I'm going to ask you 2 questions that will help you answer the question. Are you ready? Question number 1, how and where do you spend your time? Question number 2, what do you make time for? You tell me those answer to those 2 questions, and I'll tell you what's important to you. If you make time for a hobby, but you don't make time for your children, let's see, what are the kids going to think? Oh, I better change the subject. We're getting quiet. Have you heard this idea, quality time versus quantity time? No, I don't have any quantity of time to give my kids. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend quality time. Good theory. But here's the problem. You can't never predict what's quality time. Because what's quality to me, my kids go, I think I'm giving you quality time. You better enjoy it. Oh, it just popped in my mind. I've got to give a disclaimer. My children, God love them, they help Dad. When we got home the other week and I talked about the beating, they said, Dad, you scared the poor Singaporean people because they don't understand what you mean by beating. They think you really mean a beating that leaves us bruised and crippled. I should have just said a little caning, a little switching. Okay, so I've been here a long time. I try to take out all of my American stuff, but occasionally it gets in there because that was the word my mom used. I'm going to give you a beating. It just meant she was going to spank me appropriately, all right? Not abuse me, all right? Now then, just thought I'd put that disclaimer in there. I was not abusing my children. Now then, where was I? Huh? Quality time, okay. So you have this all planned out that you're going to spend this quality time, but you can't predict what your kids are going to consider quality. One of the memories that our kids, I used to take my kids to the park, the Pasir Ris Park, and there was something, they got all of this equipment, they've got all of this great stuff, and sometimes the kids, they just thought it's boring. But you know what turned that time into quality time? They had a bridge. It was a chain link with kind of a suspension type bridge. And they would get on the bridge, and I would pretend to be the troll. And they were supposed to get from this side, run up the bridge, and get across the bridge before the troll got them. Right. Now, I don't know why they liked playing a monster game, but apparently I had the looks for being a very good troll, I suppose. And so they loved to go to the park and play the troll game. It turned it into quality time. But how can you, you just got to get real lucky to come up with that idea. Because I tried a lot of other ideas, and it was like, So in order to have quality time, you're going to have to invest a quantity of time. It's going to require quantity because you can't predict what's going to be meaningful to them. Stuff that me and Barbara think are meaningful, the kids go, why are we doing this? We're bored. Sometimes we get it lucky. Sometimes we hit it and it turns into a fantastic. But do you understand what I'm saying? It's hard to predict. Make your spouse priority number 1 and your children a close number 2. Spend time with your spouse. Take a walk, read a book together, go on a date. Said, I already done that. I got the lady. We're married. Well, thank you very much. You need to continue dating. Some of you said, I never did date. Well, then start. Spending time in Sabah, we stayed up. We had a very wonderful meeting. It was just a leadership meeting, just a retreat. But one of the nights we got to talking, and I happened to ask Brothers Clement and Sister Suk how they came to be married. And so I got to hear this whole romantic story. It included Paris, France, and all of this other stuff. And, oh, yeah, I mean, Paris. It started in London, went to Paris, all the way up to the Alps. Sounds good, doesn't it, girls? But you know how Brother Clement proposed to Sister Suk? He said to her, Malaysia needs you. They're also celebrating their 25th anniversary this year. And Sister Suk hasn't forgotten that. Try to do a little more romantic than that, okay? Guys, are you listening? Break this generational curse, all right? And make sure that you shelve the urgent and prioritize the important. Okay, I've got one more little story, and the ambassadors can get the elements ready for communion. I'm going to read you a story that was given by one pastor. The pastor wrote, he said, often my wife and I arrive home tired after a long day of teaching and pastoral care that stretches late into the night. On many of these evenings, Melinda wants to take a 10-15-minute walk near our home. It is a time when we can just be alone together. As a man, if you're listening to this story, you're probably thinking what I initially thought. We're going to be alone in the house in just a couple of minutes. Why do we need to be alone on the outside? What's the difference? I mean, it's like, why do we have to go for a walk? We go inside. We're alone. But no, the wife wanted to go for a walk, for them to be alone. All right? What's the difference? The difference is it is important to her. Do you need a better reason? This pastor said, I considered my feelings about this late night walk. My most immediate thought was that I'm tired and I don't have the energy. Then the thought came to me, what if Melinda had suggested physical intimacy instead of a walk? I'll lead the way. Come. Come on, men. I'm too tired to go for a 15-minute walk.